Hi guys, I'm Darren.
Timer reset. OSD menu. Save.
And today I'm going to show you how to add a multifunction momentary switch to your OpenTX transmitter. So hi guys, as I said, today we're going to be looking at creating a multifunction momentary switch, which can basically do any sort of function that you want. As you heard in the intro, I've added sound files, which I'm going to do a video quite soon to show you how to actually record your own sound files and get them on the transmitter. So then if you assign a function to that switch, you can easily get it set up so you get a nice audible definition of what's going to happen when you let go of the switch. So the simple mechanics of it is, obviously we're using this momentary switch here, and if I turn the volume back up, you'll hold it down until you hear the command you want. Then when you let go, it actually triggers that action. So
timer reset. OSD menu.
So the beep lets you know what you've actually done. So that would open up the INAV OSD menu in your goggles. So let's get into OpenTX Configurator and get on with setting this up. Okay, so I've not got a model at the moment, so I'm just going to create a new one. So let's get in. So the first thing that we need to do is add our logical switches, which actually are going to do all the work for us. So these are all going to be edge switches. So it's nice and simple. And what we need to do is select SH in the down position. So that is when the momentary switch is pulled towards you. What we're going to do is have instant for the first one. So for each action, there's actually two logical switches. So I'll go through the first one just so we can see what's going on. So for each one, I set to 1.5 seconds. What we have here is we have a first action, which is for our voice command. And then we have a second action, which is for our detection of the switch. So this one here, as soon as we hit that 00 bracket, because it's instant, it will play the voice command. So we know what we're doing. And then as soon as you let go of the switch, that is what we're detecting here. That's obviously the first command. That's brilliant. So let's set up a second. So we'll do 2 more edges. So again, we can probably just copy and paste, to be honest, for a lot of this. So this one, instead of starting at 00, we'll start at 0.5. Oh, sorry, 1.5. Again, we set the first one to instant. And then for the second one, we add another 1.5 seconds. So that will stop at 3. There we have our second switch. And say this is for a command in INAV. Most of the stick commands in INAV you need to be disarmed to do. So say your ARM switch was, I've set it up with logical switches and all sorts, but just for simplicity's sake, let's say SF in that position is your disarmed position. You can set up the disarmed condition as an AND switch. So it will only do this if you're disarmed. So that's just a little safety feature you can add. I'm going to get rid of it just for the sake of this demo, but it's a good safety feature to put in there. Anything you're doing with INAV, potentially Betaflight as well, anything like that. If you require to be disarmed, you can add that in there as a safety feature. So the only other thing I'm going to do is, because we're using this one here as a stick command for INAV, I'm actually going to add a duration of 1.1 seconds. And what that will do is just hold the sticks in those positions for 1.1 seconds. So if you're just doing a standard thing, like say this one, we're resetting the timer, which we had in the example, then you don't need to do that. It's an instant thing. But if you're doing something with stick commands, I'd add a duration. So, all right, let's see if we can copy that, paste it in there and in there. We'll copy this one and paste it in there and in there. So this one will start at 3 seconds. Done that wrong, haven't I? Never mind. This one will also start at 3 seconds. This one needs to be instant. And this one here needs to be 4.5 seconds. So this one will start at 4.5 seconds. Again, this will be instant. And this one here will end at 6 seconds. So I've copied and pasted the wrong ones. So let's get our 1.1s in the right place. Because again, with this example, I'm going to copy what was on the transmitter. So these will be INAV stick commands. But as I say, they could be anything. They could be, clear telemetry. You could have the instant one as a instant trim setting on your transmitter. You can do absolutely anything with this. So the last thing I'm going to add is actually a little beep so that you know when the timing has passed, because obviously with this we've got a maximum of 6 seconds to do whatever we want to do with the commands. So as we work through, the voice command will tell us that we're entered the next phase, but when we get to the end, we want to know that if we let go of a switch, absolutely nothing's going to happen. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to use an edge with SH. And what we're going to do is set this to 1.5 instant, which is the same as this setting. But what we're going to do is say, obviously, if we're in the INAV, so we want this to be our ARM switches disarmed. Sorry, I should have just kept it on there because it's demonstrating the functionality. So I'll just add these back in. Right, so now these will only work if it's disarmed, but this one here will work if it's armed or disarmed. So what we need to do is, because we're coming to the end, we want an alert at the end. We want to make sure that once we get past this 1.5 seconds, we know that the timing is over. So what we're going to actually do is set this to the armed position. So if we're armed, this one will go through. This one won't do anything because we're not disarmed, but this one here will activate instantly and we can get our feedback. So what we also want to do is we'll add another edge. Again, this one we're going to go to 6.1 or 6 seconds on an instant. But again, we want this one to be that we're disarmed. So if we get past this one here, this one will go off. What we're going to do now is look at feedback. So for feedback, for the first 8 logical switches, the odd numbers are going to be when we're actually entering that specific command. So what I'm going to do is pop over here. We're going to go for logical switch 1, logical switch 3, logical switch 5, and logical switch 7. So what we ideally have are soundtracks to actually tell us what the switch is doing. So we're going to say play track. So I'm going to use the INAV fixed wing group sound pack for this. IFTR RST.
Timer reset.
Okay, so the next one that we have is OSD menu.
OSD menu.
Save.
Save.
And load mission.
Mission.
So if you go to the INAV fixed wing group website, there's the Pro OpenTX model on there. These sounds are actually in there. But as I say, I'll make a video in the future to show how to use these. That's the first set of sounds. So this is to show that we are in that section of the menu. The even numbers are going to show we've selected that option. So what we're going to do now is add our logical switches for the even numbers of the first 8. And these can just be sounds, like just something so you know that when you let go, it's actually selected that option. It's just a confirmation sound. And the last bit of feedback we want is for 9 and 10, and they're just going to let us know that we've come to the end of the menu, and anything, if we let go after that, it's not going to do anything. So 9 and 10, and again we'll just play a sound, and we'll just choose a different sound so that we know that we're out the menu. So at the moment, if I simulate that, we should actually get some feedback. So this is our momentary switch.
Timer reset.
We're obviously in the armed position, so we've got a timer reset.
Timer reset.
And then the rat-a-tat to let us know that we're out the menu. So if I put it in the disarm position, we should now get more options.
Timer reset. OSD menu. Save.
And if we let go, you get the 3 beeps to confirm.
Timer reset.
So let's get to the end of the
OSD
menu.
Save. Load mission.
And then we get the final one to let us know that we're out. There's a little bit of lag in configurator, but it works absolutely perfectly on the transmitter itself. So don't worry about
OSD menu.
me letting go and save and it actually going into the next one in the previous time. It actually works fine on the transmitter. That's where we can see this working. Now, the only other thing that we need to do is actually set up the actions. Now, again, these are on the even numbers. So the first one is really simple. Logical switch 2. We're just going to go to reset timer. And as I said, absolutely anything in this menu you can do and command with this system. So you can reset telemetry, the flight, timer 1. You can do absolutely anything with this switch. It's all that's limiting is what sound files you have to let you know what you're doing. But as I said, we'll get that covered in the future or very soon. The next step we're going to do is add in our logical switch 4, which is for our save, or sorry, our OSD menu. Now this one's going to be a bit different because we're going to override the channels. So what we actually need is 4 of these. So we're going to override channel 1, 2, 3, and 4. So to get this, what we need to do is just head over to the INAV GitHub. So this is the address here, GitHub, INAV flight, INAV blob master docs controls.md. I'll put a link in the description. And what we do is just go down and you can see they're describing the actual outputs, which if you remember on a transmitter, low is actually -100, center is 0, and high is +100. And this here gives you all the positions for all the different commands that you can perform. So there's also this diagram here, which I'm going to just use now. So if we want to enter the OSD menu, what we have, this is all mode 2, right? So enter OSD menu. So channel, this is AETR, so channel A, which is ailerons are in the middle, so it's on 0. E, elevator, is on 100. T is on 0, and R is on -100. So that will get us into the OSD menu. So our next one here is save, which will be save settings. So we're going to do exactly the same. Let's paste it in. We'll change this to logical switch 6. So what we can do, A, we're on 100. E, we're on -100. And then T and R are both also on -100. So that's our save. And the final one is our load waypoint mission, which is this one here. So again, let's paste that in. And this will be on logical switch 8. Obviously, if you use a different channel order to AETR, you'll need to adjust this to your channel order. but I'm using AETR because it's the default in INAV. So load waypoint mission, aileron is 100. Elevator is 100. Throttle is -100. And rudder is 0. So that will now do all our stick commands. So if we then simulate, what you'll see is these channels here changing. So what I do,
Timer reset. Timer reset. OSD menu.
so you can see the channels just change as soon as I let go.
Timer reset. OSD menu. Save.
And again, channels.
Timer reset. OSD menu. Save. Load mission.
And the last one. So that's how to set this up in OpenTX. As I say, you can have whatever you want. This will work on any OpenTX radio. I'm using the Horus just to demo, as that's what I had on my desktop. So that's what was set up at the moment, but it will work on anything with a momentary switch. So with regards to INAV, you can set it to do absolutely any of these commands. On the transmitter itself, you can set it to do, so that was a reset, but you can set it to do absolutely anything. Adjust your volume to a certain level, set your brightness, whatever you want, you can change this to do. So I hope you guys have found this video useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, you can give it a thumbs down, but if you do the thumbs down, please leave it a note in the comments as to why, so I can improve the videos in future. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. It helps get these videos out to more people so they can learn how to do all this cool stuff with OpenTX and INAV too. So thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.